these are sneaky good support refines, and we're going to talk about each unit individually, but I think you guys are going to find some value out of this. Let's start though with Ninian, because I think this is definitely the winner of this batch. Okay, so the thing that Ninian is going to be most focused on is this arena duels area, and you want to put her in arena assault, or allegiance battles because she scores well. All of these are going to be amazing for her, and of course arena assault works about the same way as arena. Most of her stuff is focused in this area, but that doesn't mean she can't be used in Aether Raids. A lot of the stuff she gets is mid-turn, and so that really helps any sort of player phase strategy. The fact that she can then attack as well gives you some action economy, but I will say action economy in general in Aether Raids is much cheaper than it is in a mode like Arena Duels. As far as the different events, GHB battles, this unit is going to be amazing. SDS, there are some uses for her, but I think there are probably some better options there. There always is a way in SDS to use units, and I think this could fit in there, but most of the time you're going to be really pushing more towards Arena where she shines. So let's go over the Refine and Remix. We have Faithful Breath, and this has Canto, Adaptive Damage, some debuffs, and then we inflict exposure and panic after you dance, and that's really what you want to focus in on. She does have some counter disrupt, which is really nice, some true damage equal to 25, which is good in a weapon, but for the most part, this is going to be a support maven with definitely some offensive capabilities. But again, remember what we've talked about, like true damage 25, that is the minimum threshold for being good, and this unit does meet that. So this unit will be able to destroy things. Also remember that this unit does have Canto now, which is really nice, especially at a minimum of 2. I do want to go over the remix, and this is Dragon's Dance. There's a lot of stuff here. The thing I want you to really focus in on is Treachery and Potent Follow. The fact that you get both of these is really huge, particularly Treachery. I know we do have a lot of lull effects, but that doesn't mean that everyone has them, and being able to pass this off 2 units can really help put you over the edge. And then it does have that after turn 1, if you dance, then you get another action with this unit. That is unfortunate for modes like Aether Raids Defense and Summoner Duels S or R, but everywhere else that is not a problem at all, and that is something that is really fun to be able to use. Let's look at the builds though, and I have 2 different ones, and if you remember the way I'm doing this is I've got this separated out into budget and max invest, and I'll recommend which I think you should be going with. For the budget build, the skill I've got right here is High Dragon Wall. You'll notice I have both of these at +10, and I really think if you want to use this unit, the place to do it is in any type of scoring mode, and she just absolutely shines there as a dancer who hands out Treachery and Potent and gets an extra action. All of that is huge for this unit. So bulking up on her res just so that you get more out of High Dragon Wall. I have Fatal Smoke, and I need to explain this. So technically you can get that out of the codes, so I've kind of cheated here. Normally I only have one special thing to give her, but High Dragon Wall at a minimum, if you get that and a C skill that scores, you're good. Like that is the minimum threshold. As is, this unit is excellent and you don't have to do anything. The reason I have Fatal Smoke, if you can pick off a unit that is not one of the main tanks, someone who doesn't have null counter disrupt, and that's really what you're after, you can spread the Fatal Smoke madness over units within 2 of the target, and then the rest of your team can come in and really do some damage that they wouldn't normally be able to do because Miracle is doing its thing. That is incredibly valuable when you have Rhea just everywhere in Arena now. We move to the max invest, and this really focuses more on being able to destroy things. Now, I have Crystalline Water, and that is really to boost up Ice Wall. The thing is, she doesn't have a special that really suits her. And so I've gone into Ice Wall, and then I've buffed up the res to 44, which is usable. Like that is something that is usable, and you also get the DR from Ice Wall, which is nice. Edge Scales, though, is incredibly good on this unit, and an underrated skill in general. Now remember, Edge Scales doesn't score as well as High Dragon Wall, but it's still good. And then attack speed, Outcry, Dull. You have the Dull All, which is nice, but you also have the true damage from that, which is very, very nice. If I'm recommending one of these builds, though, I think you get the most out of just High Dragon Wall and Fatal Smoke. There are some other options there for C skills. Know that it's really whatever you'd like. I would point out that Odd Speed Wave is also a really nice one to put on this unit. This build gets 90% of the good you want out of this unit, and I think you'll be really, really happy with just this. Now, I've got, of course, a Max Invest build because this is one of my favorite units, but I think this will do you just fine. I think this is an excellent refine and remix. I'm very happy with it. We just put up new desk mats, and I love these. This is Lynn, Ike, and Corin. I think these look absolutely fantastic. Go check them out. The link is above my head. Let's get back to the episode, though. Arval is a little tougher, and the thing is, they've kind of set him up, and we'll go over it in just a little bit. They've kind of set him up as an AoE nuke, and we are in a meta that doesn't really reward AoEs unless you are just a ridiculous AoE user. It makes this harder. Aetherytes in particular is where you would have wanted to use Arval, and the issue is Hother exists, and she's very, very good. Hathrin is very, very good. Freyr. Athos is actually really good, and you keep on going down the list of units that you would rather have on your team that offer something special, and it is very difficult to slot this unit in. If we move over into Arena Duels, in Arena Assault, you can use this unit as an AoE nuke or a cleanup unit, and I think this unit can do a lot of damage there, so that is a place where you can use this with success. If you're looking at PvP, there are definitely places to use this unit, but any of the big events, SDS, or even when you look over into Pawns of Loki or anything like that, it becomes very difficult to find a place for this unit. So I think Arena Assault is probably going to be the place you are most happy. But let's go over the remix and refine. So we have Rite of Souls. This has Slaying. And okay, so this is start of player phase or enemy phase. And that really sets up nicely for a defense mythic like this is. You get Guard, Discord, Red Shackle, and that's all in 3 rows, 3 columns, which is nice. You get some decent true damage, but it's included in AoE, which is nice. And then you, of course, get the foe can't make a follow-up attack and some flat DR and then some piercing. All in all, this is okay. Let's talk about duality. And right off the bat, you get stats, and that's attack res plus 10. Honestly, that's pretty good. Like, that's a decent amount of just visible stats that you get. And then at the start of turn, to self-analyze within 2 spaces, you get Preempt Pulse. This is like a bare minimum. Like, if we're talking about support, Preempt Pulse is quite nice. You get the weapon triangle advantage thing that this unit has for a lot of different colors, which is great. Guaranteed follow-up, and you get plus 7 damage, again, included on the AoE and some flat DR. So, I mean, you're seeing how this works out. This is absolutely trying to set this unit up as an AoE nuke. So I've got 2 different versions of this unit. And because of duality, we get a really good amount of res. If we look at the max invest first, Silence Ward is really interesting. And keep in mind that also has Preempt Pulse. You're going to be able to reliably get Frost Moon, which is fantastic. Attack Res Havoc has true damage and also offers debuffs to the enemy, which helps your team. This is a good build, and right now we have a lot of tanks that have null counter disrupt, but I don't think that's going to happen for long. I think we're going to keep rotating out. You're going to have folks that really need Silence Ward, and that skill is going to come back with a vengeance. Understand that Kento Curb Stomp would be excellent on this unit and something that you could use. If we look at the budget build, though, I think this is going to give most of what you want, and this really goes into that whole AoE nuke thing. You don't need much in order for this to work. My one premium skill here is Attack Res Havoc, but even if you just had a Cultist Strike, I think that would work just fine. I left Times Pulse on there, and then Squad Ace BU is there for, you know, all the shenanigans. Listen, this, and we'll just skip right to the suggestion here. This is what I'm going to suggest. I think this gets the point across as to what they were trying to give you, and you don't need a whole lot of fluff. If you were going to upgrade just this, if you did one of the newer, the Times Pulse Helm, which is the Attack Res variant, I think that would be excellent and would help you get that Blazing Flame off. So any of those cooldown reductions, the fancier one, even Pulse Up Blades lets you get 1 cooldown per turn, and so the further it goes, the better it goes. You can see I have that Marth Ring on there just to get some extra cooldown there as well, to get Blazing Flame off even quicker. Honestly, this is going to do most of what you want with this unit. I don't think you have to invest just a ton, but I mean, if Arval is your favorite, then they're waiting for that better build. So I can never fault you for splurging on favorites. So I promised weird supportive units, and I think this is it. And we're going to talk about it in just a bit, but mid-turn Frozen, as well as some other stats, is very, very good in the meta right now. That helps you out a ton in ARO. I've been trying to bring Omni-tanking back into my repertoire, and one of the things that I constantly have to worry about speed versus Camilla, and if I can outspeed her, then things go really, really well, and normally it's pretty close. Plus 10 to having her try to outspeed me is a huge, huge number, and can help a ton. For ARD, and this is sad because this was Leaf's staple. Like, ARD was where this unit sat, and as it stands right now, ARD, and we talked about it, but it has a lot of the same rules as SDS. Not a good fit right now, just absolutely not. In Arena Assault, again, I have several Omni tank or teams that have, you know, double saves. This unit can help there for any speed-based units. As far as Arena, this unit doesn't score well enough for that anymore, and you really want to look for some other score bot. Even the free-to-play ones like Marnie just blow this one out of the water. Let's talk about the Refine itself. The thing that you want to zoom in on is Frozen and Exposure after an action. And that's really big. Like, I cannot say enough. Like, those two together are very, very nice. The only thing that would have been better is if this unit would have had some kind of drive true damage, and suddenly this would be just a support nightmare for the other team. Past that, stats, okay, true damage, guaranteed follow-up, piercing, and then you have the weird recoil damage that wasn't good when this unit came out. I had so many people try to convince me that they could do some kind of recoil damage shenanigans and absolutely destroy the opponent. It would work every now and again, but it was tough. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. I would have been just fine if they would have absolutely gotten rid of it. And they didn't. It's here, and yeah. I do want to talk about the duo skill just a little bit. And the main thing I want to say is this is kind of trash. I mean, targets foes within 3 spaces? So you have to be pretty close. And it deals damage equal to 10 plus 50% of total HP lost by allies within 3 spaces. Everyone's really got to be close for this to take effect. And by that time, you're just praying that you haven't been stomped. And then inflicting attack speed -7 is okay. This is not great. It is a duo button, but I mean, you're not going to be using this most of the time. It may help in a pinch. For the builds, I want to talk about the max invest first. And so this is basically your repositioning in. You get another action because of the Micaiah ring. You get to cleanse penalties. You get attack speed favor doing its thing and adding extra true damage everywhere, as well as empathy. You get odd speed wave, which is giving out no follow-up. This is a nice package, as well as using Astra. You can get some damage with this and make this a good cleanup unit. This is nice. Like, this is a good setup, and essentially you are using this unit as Sharena Light. So, I mean, of course I love this, and I love Leaf too, so this fits perfectly. Budget build, which I know if you're paying attention, you know where all these skills came from. You took a Sharena and you sacrificed her for all of these skills. He already gets piercing, so he doesn't need Magic Light, but if he's getting all of this other stuff from Sharena, he might as well get those as well. The C slot is supportive for whatever you need, but Breath of Life is normally something that you have available on at some time just because you can get it off of Alphonse, and he gets Summon to Luck because he's green. So that's the budget build. If I am recommending one over the other, I love this max invest build. I was really, really proud of it, but I think you get most of the benefit out of the budget build here. The only thing I don't like is I would love to have had Favor. Favor is so good, but it's so expensive right now. This is one Sharena, and you've got this unit updated. You're probably using Astra instead of Magic Light anyway, but I wanted to just bring home a point that if you're getting a Sharena, you're just taking everything she has and you're dumping it into this unit. So that is something you can do with this unit. I think this gets most of the value out there. For you diehard fans, though, pay attention to that max invest build. That is nice. You notice I didn't put any sort of echo skill on there because I don't really think that adds value. But that is another place you could upgrade the unit. This next one is interesting, though. I've gone back and forth on Yanfei. So Yanfei, the thing is, so I had someone in the comments, and I really liked this. I wish I could quote your name, but what they said is the threshold for a decent refine is that it's better than an arcane weapon, and we have crossed that threshold. Like, this is better than an arcane weapon, but not by much. And the biggest reason is, and I'm really focusing in on Aetheryde's offense here and talking about how this unit wants to be an Omni tank. Like, everything in this unit wants to be that. The problem is, and we'll talk about the crazy fire that this unit puts out, that conflicts with the best Omni tank ring in the game right now, which is Corrin. And so you have taken the best ring and you've negated it because, yeah, I don't love that. I mean, if you're going up against a Camilla, which 9 times out of 10 on Aetheryde's offense, you're going up against a defensive Camilla, and it's all going to get canceled out anyway. So I guess there is that, but I don't love it, and it doesn't have a whole lot of good synergy. So I'm not a huge fan. So to Arena, and this is the other place, like, this is really the place where this unit was. This unit was supposed to be able to tank things in Arena and be your Arena score bot that just saved you, and he failed miserably. This made the top 5 worst the year he was out, and I think this made honorable mention, but so many folks tried to build this unit as a score bot, and he was not very good. So that was tough. Any of the events, PvP, we always talk about it, but this unit can definitely perform in PvE. SDS, no, and really any of the big events as well. This is just not a unit really suited for that. Let's talk about the Omni tank, though. Let's talk about the weapon first. So what this has is you get speed, you get stats, you get distant counter in the weapon, which is not a small thing because that means it frees up other slots for that. And then you get to this unit and to units around it, no follow-up and no penalties, which is a big thing. Here's what I'm talking about, though. This applies Divine Vein Flame to unit space and spaces within 2 for 1 turn. So everywhere around this unit. If you don't have the Corrin ring, this is negating Camilla's deal. So understand that if you don't have the Corrin ring, then this is amazing because now Camilla can't come in and smash you because those two are going to cancel each other out, and you're not going to have any terrain there, and then there's no warping. So I should say that, but optimally, you want the Corrin ring for Omni tanks. It is hard to be an Omni tank. So there's that. So past that, start of combat, true damage 20%, heals, you get a lot of DR, and you get flat DR as well as regular DR. I think we have come to a point where we're ignoring percent damage reduction a little too much. We have a lot of piercing, but most of it's at 50%. And 50% in this case of 40 is 20. We'll take 20%. I mean, on top of whatever the weapon gives. Like, we'll take that, right? So let's look at the builds, and we're going to do a deep dive on this max invest. I know I haven't done that yet, but it's interesting. So the problem with this, and someone who does a lot of omni tanking is going to immediately see it, is that it is difficult to proc Arch Rival with this kit. But if you can, and there is a lot of preempt pulse laying around, this really does a pretty good job of just beating things up. I don't have the Corrin ring on here. I have the Erica ring so that you get, 2 hits. And also you don't fight with yourself. So that's a big deal. Duelist Blow is kind of good, especially if you're trying to stack speed, which you absolutely are. Pair up 4. Oh, if I had the orbs, I would love to get pair up 4 fodder. It is very expensive. When I say max invest build, I mean you are going all out on this unit. Attack speed Faith has the bulwark as well as some damage reduction and some flat DR, which is excellent. Have to have Hardy Fighter. There are way too many desperation builds right now, and you really need it. And then you've had to go with Null Sea Disrupt E because we didn't do Null Sea Avoid in the B skill. This works pretty well. If you want to look at the budget version of this, what I have done is I have taken Byleth, so Brave Byleth, and I have just inherited everything over and then added Attack Speed Finish. Attack Speed Finish isn't my favorite, but it is fairly cheap, and I'm assuming that you have it somewhere in your barracks. So this is a 1 unit that you have to summon in to get this, and then you're good. One thing I need to mention, I do have the Astra. I normally don't bless these. The Astra is a sign to you that you should not use this unit in light season. There are too many things that could go wrong. In Astra, though, you can use this unit and be a decent Omni tank. And let's talk about what I mean by decent. Let's move over into what the damage analysis says. And I think this is the only one I did for this batch. Flat DR 48 is actually decent. Like, BK is at 59, and BK is very bulky. So you are at least in that range. The true damage is what kind of hurts me, and it's going to be hard to kill things back. And that is absolutely a problem in an era of very bulky nukes. The boosted damage of 66 is coming all from Arch Rival, so that also depends on a special proc. And I think that's what you're going to find with this unit is if you can proc Arch Rival, then you are happy. And if you can't, then this unit is going to get smacked pretty hard. So this unit is around in case you don't have the Corrin ring and you want to tank. I mean, negating everything that Camilla is trying to do is pretty good. So it's not bad. It is a little bit short of greatness, and I think Yanfei deserved it after falling so flat his first time around. If we're looking at the build suggestion, okay, here's the thing, and what I look at for budget versus max invest is how much more you get out of max invest versus budget, and you get a lot more out of this. If you are going all out on Yanfei, the difference between the budget build and the max invest build is significant. This is a big deal, and I mean that's really what I've got to say. Like, this is a nice build on this unit. If you want to support this unit with Lyn, then suddenly you have Ryoma Light, and Ryoma is, in my opinion, the best Omni tank in the game right now. So having a light version of that is pretty good. This is how you're going to be able to use this unit, and Yanfei users, I know how expensive this is. That's all I've got to say. But this is what you've got to do. Yuri got a better refine than people are saying. Just flat out, foul play is just good. It always has been, and it still is now. So, with the current tools, I think this becomes very interesting, and I've got some fun support things to do with him. In an Arena Assault, he's gonna add some minimal value, but there is some there, and in SDS, just not a good fit. I will say I didn't include them, but I think there are some events that you could use this unit in and have some fun. Like he has interesting mobility is always good. Period. It just is. I want to jump right into the weapon though, Honorable Blade, and Canto 2 +1 movement. You have Dagger 7, which you always do. Why did they do attack speed +6 and defense force +5? I don't know. I would have wanted more true damage. You'll see in a little bit, it comes out to a little under 20 and the minimal is about 25. Really though, we could skip all of that and move on down to ally support, which is attack speed +5, preempt pulse, and scowl. This is pretty good, especially if you're supporting a player phase team, which is where I'm going to push you towards for this unit. But preempt pulse and scowl, it's nice, and the extra attack and speed doesn't hurt. Let's look at the builds though. So I'm going to go again to the max and best build first. Attack speed waylay is fun. For the way this build works, it will help you do cleanup kills, but it is not a must-have. Same thing with Arch Rival. It's fun. Attack speed favor is really good on this unit, especially the way he's going to work, where he's going to get units further up with foul play and getting them in that L shape up and up to the top of the key there. Same with Pulse Mog is okay. So I've got a budget build and a max invest build. The max invest build has a lot of things that help the combat, but if you really wanted to just put attack speed favor on this, I think you would get a lot of value out of it. What I focused on in the budget build was in case you wanted this unit to hit hard. Now, you notice I've got 2 premium skills. Lethality, though, I think is on enough units that I'm assuming that you can pull it out from somewhere. And then I've got Speed Taker. And just that, I mean, you'll be able to, times pulse, you'll be able to proc this lethality semi-regularly. And then Swift Sparrow 3, I'm really just putting anything on there that gives you attack and speed. If you wanted to upgrade there, Slice Swift Sparrow would absolutely do it. But I wanted to limit the amount of premium things I put on this unit. I think this unit lacks a little bit of killing power anyway. So while this is good, I still feel like you're going to be a little bit disappointed. And that leads me to my build suggestion. If you are going to build this unit, I think you want attack speed favor, and that's just the way it is. Just that support, along with the support that this unit gives out, I think is going to bring this unit back into a place where you can use him. And I think that's a big deal. So be on the lookout for that. All of the other stuff, I mean, these are hard to find skills. Like Pulse Mog's fun, especially keep in mind that will give you 2 scowl. And so this unit will be able to stop a lot of preempt pulse plays. And I mean, that's the whole thing, right? You almost want 2 scowls on everything in order for it to be good at all, because there's so much preempt pulse that they just end up canceling each other out, and somehow you get the special procced on you anyway. Keep in mind that attack speed waylay is kind of just a flex. You'll be excused if you don't remember what this does, but it has some true damage and then full no follow-up, which, I mean, is really nice on this unit, but it's on 1 dagger, so on the other Yuri. So that's hard to get. Attack speed favor is the thing you want to focus on if you want to build this unit, though. What Charlotte looks like to me is that they really wanted to lean into the Gale Force unit. And the hard part is Gale Force units nowadays have to hit really hard as well. Back in my day, it used to be a detriment, because you wanted to make sure you got 2 hits off and then you could possibly proc Gale Force. But in the current meta, it is you have to kill things first and worry about more actions later, and actions have become cheaper and cheaper. But I do think this unit has a fun use case as a secondary initiator, and we'll talk about how that works there. For Arena Assault, you need a lot of investment, but you can make this unit a cleanup unit. She does have the bare minimum there. As far as your events, she's not going to be an SDS unit. For GHBs, I love trying to clear GHBs in one turn. Like it is my secret hobby. That is, everyone that comes out, I try to be able to defeat it in one turn, period. And being a Gale Force unit, this unit can help you do that. So this is a place where she can shine. And if you want to do Charlotte content with her clearing every GHB possible, then I think that would be a fun thing to do. Let's talk a little bit about what she got and why I think this is a good Gale Force unit. So you have attack +6, desperation, and then special cooldown charge +1 per attack. So that's that special acceleration built in. These two things are already very good. Past that, you have more stats and neutralizes penalties and null guard, some true damage, but not enough, and then some extra stats as well as preempt pulse. So, I mean, you can see this stacking up where you can trigger Gale Force actually pretty easily. Let's move down and talk about that more in the build. So I've actually got two different Gale Force builds here. The max invest one is probably going to be the most fun, and attack speed Hex Edge is just, I like that skill. Potent finish to get 3 hits off possibly and get an even greater chance of proccing Gale Force. Pulse Tempo F gives you more movement. There is an argument to be made with the way this is built that Mercy Wing Echo warping in and then using something like Brutal Tempest, where you can actually canto away, is better than Pulse Tempest F, even though you get more cooldown out of that. That's up to you. The way I've got this working is I wanted to get a very clear path to Gale Force, and I probably went a little overkill on that. So you've got some things that you can do. Another sneaky thing, and I didn't put it on the max invest build, maybe I should have, is to have the Mercy Wing Echo and then do pass in the B, and suddenly you stop worrying about that. And for secondary kills, this unit will do just fine, and Gale Force will be there to clear the way for you. So this is definitely a way you can use this unit. For the budget build, I've got similar. This is an easy way to proc Gale Force. The way I get this unit in, since I can't get Mercy Wing Echo, is I use the Celica Ring. And we all know there's more and more to stop warping, so it gets harder and harder to really say that you're going to use that, but it is a possibility. My one premium skill is Speed Taker, but I think there's a good argument to be made that maybe Celica Ring should be swapped out there to something else and to put Wings of Mercy 4 in there. And that's, I still have clears in Aether Raids where I take out whatever warp inhibitors there are, and then I can warp the rest of my team in. So know that that is a possibility. If I'm making a suggestion though, I think if you want to use this unit, you're going to have to use the max invest. And there are different ways to do this. Really focus in on that Mercy Wing Echo though. That's probably the thing that makes this go. And it's tough because that's on a 1 unit and it's an Echo skill. At least it's a green unit though, which is, it does make it a little cheaper to get, but I think this is a good way to use this unit. And I think Gale Force as a secondary Gale Force, which is kind of like a support unit because you're just getting extra actions out of them. If you are a Charlotte fan, I think that's a good way to go. Last unit we have up here is Tatianna, and this is our 4-star unit here, and I was hoping they would do a little better with her. She's not a fit in Aether Raids. In PvP stuff, if you have enough shenanigans, you can get her going. Arena Assault is going to be what you're going to be targeting, and she does provide decent support and can be a cleanup unit. Let's talk about what I'm looking at here and why I'm a little less than pleased with the way they treated her. Omni +5, you get true damage 20% of the res, preempt pulse. So that's good. You get an Omni lull. You get guaranteed follow-up, healing, and then to allies within 3 rows, 3 columns, you get attack res +5, Omni-Lull, and Restore 7 HP. It's just tough. Like, the Omni-Lull being the headliner, you'd want something a little better there. Let's talk about the builds though. So max invest, I am just stacking up on all of the res that I possibly can, and then I'm using attack res Havoc, which has some good support as well as some true damage. You notice the builder wasn't updated with the new weapons, so it doesn't show her having the Saint Ship tome. But understand that is what I have equipped here. And then you have Ice Wall and Silence Ward 4 and Times Pulse Echo in order to get Ice Wall as fast as you can. 72 res is a lot of res. That is a ton. And if you're going just the budget build, the thing I want to keep out of that is the attack res Havoc. I think just that provides her some extra support and helps her out a ton. So that is the skill I would be targeting if you want to use Tatianna. And that kind of leads you into the budget build. I don't know that you get enough out of the max invest build for me to tell you to go do that. I think the budget build is probably what you're going to be aiming for most here. And Stillwater is available on a lot of units. Like Stillwater 4 is easy to get, and Attacker's Havoc is not as easy to get, but it is on enough units that I have faith that you'll be able to get that if this is one of your favorites. So this is a way you can use this unit. Next up, we need to talk about Albert's predictions. And Albert, thank you for all of your work. This is where we're at right now. Main pool, most likely we're going to get Zeke. Oh, I have to say, if you look at like last month's predictions versus this one, I think there was one that he didn't get. So hats off to you. Like it is hard to predict these things. Back to this. Understand these are never 100%. It is hard to predict what IS is doing, and it is even harder to put yourself out there and say that you're going to try to predict what this is. Main pool, Niffle. I would love to see Niffle. I'm a big Niffle fan, and I am not a big Moosebell fan, but the small human, it's one of his favorite units, and so we may be getting it refined for that. I mean, here we are. Past that though, I mean, seasonals, I wish they gave seasonals faster, but Valentine's Gustav would be fun. I'm a Gustav fan. So, Kaiza is up there. And then for the legendary spot, we have Shez, who could actually be really good. Shez has a lot of good bones, and especially when you add something like Cosmic in there that we just got, that's like the Super Astra. This unit could be a ton of fun. I don't know what they're going to do with Medius. I am very curious, but we will come back and see. And you can even look at this next month and see how close Albert got, because Albert is very good at what he does. If you're looking for information on the Halloween banner, I'm going to leave that up here. You can go check that out. There were a lot of fun things that they added. Members, you are amazing. Thank you for all that you do. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.